Guess I'm not looking into the camera. Where the hell is the camera on this thing? Oh, there we go. Hi, there you are. Haven't been looking at you yet. Last night, kind of on a whim, I purchased a course with Andrew Huang, and it's through a service called Monthly. And I haven't heard of Monthly before, but Andrew Huang has a really good reputation, as many of you guys know, so I thought I'd give it a shot. The course doesn't start until June 1st. So the stuff that we're supposed to learn before the class even starts is a lot of music theory. The other stuff was equipment, all of which I already had. A lot of the music theory stuff I already know how to do, but I'm not extremely fast at it. I was definitely surprised by the amount of music theory stuff that students in this class are expected to learn before classes start. And maybe if you're a little shaky on a lot of the stuff on day one, maybe that's not that big of a deal, but definitely when I got the list of all this stuff that he wanted you to study, chords and chord progressions and inversions and rhythm, quite a bit of stuff for someone who might be an absolute beginner or something like that. Aside from that, some of you guys might want to know what the price is. The price of the course was $279. One of the things that I'm anxious to find out is actually how much we get to interact with Andrew Huang. I'm a little worried that a lot of this is just pre-recorded already and we're only going to get a very minimal amount of feedback from him. Although I guess maybe a lot of the content will be really good and special little tricks and tips that you couldn't get from his YouTube channel, but we'll see. It definitely seems like it's going to be very extensive. I also think that even though I'm not like a pro level producer or anything, I think I do have a lot of authority to say what works or what doesn't work coming from a student point of view. I've taken music theory classes before, point blank online classes with Point Blank London. I've taken one-on-one classes with Jason Timothy. I've taken one-on-one classes with Paul Nolan. So I'm definitely going to compare it against some of those other things. It's day one of Andrew's course. Everything up to this point has been music theory. It's been chords and scales and chord progressions and rhythmic dictation. Up till this point, even though the class hasn't exactly started yet, I would give the class a fairly good rating. I like his way of thinking about chord progressions and how to build them. He keeps music theory pretty simple on the chord progression side of things. It's a simple method that actually works. I don't want to give that away because I feel like that would be giving away parts of his course for free. But if you have trouble with chord progressions, it might be a pretty helpful method. On the rhythmic dictation side of things, I don't feel like he really gave enough. Rhythmic dictation is very hard. In my music theory class that I took, the professor said that it's very hard for everybody. So I think he should have broken that up into smaller steps instead of kind of giving the whole thing. Anyway, so I'm going to look at the day one materials for today and see what he has in store for me. And I'm going to check back in with you guys and let you know how I'm feeling about the course as I go through it. Okay, so after looking over the materials a little bit more and kind of looking at the way that it seems like I'm going to be interacting with other students, I'm less impressed with the course than I was before. To me, there are too many students in the class for Andrew to be able to give much attention to any given student. I think smaller classes would be better because there's going to be a lot of listening and a lot of feedback required. So to me, the more students means less feedback and less listening. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he will clock a lot of hours to give the students a ton of feedback, but it's already starting to seem like that won't be the case because on the first day, all the students have been posting their stuff and Andrew hasn't made any posts yet at all. So, you know, to me, if I was teaching a course like this, I would make sure to at least show up on the first day of class and type a few things and say, hey, I'm here, you know, and he introduces himself in these videos, but you get the feeling that these videos have been the same for other classes that he's done just like this in the past. So it's not really a personalized greeting, it's just a cookie cutter greeting that he's made for this class already before. So there's no sort of, and I understand that he's a busy guy, but it kind of seems like when you buy the class, that's what you're paying for. But anyway, we'll see, I guess. On day 5 or 6, I wasn't very happy with the class because I discovered that there were a lot of students in the class. at least 170. One of the other students said it looked like there were about 200 students in the class. And as a college professor myself, who is only allowed to teach a total of 66 students maximum during a 1-month summer session, I didn't feel like we would be getting the attention that we deserved. And then surely enough, the next day, Andrew only replied to like 30 or 40, I think, of the student submissions. Now maybe he's replied to more since then. I guess I just want to say that if you're expecting a lot of one-on-one interaction with Andrew, it doesn't seem like that's what you're going to get. It doesn't seem like that's what I'm going to get in the class. Now, having said that, when I watched some of Andrew's longer videos the next day and try to take some of that advice into account, I did get some pretty good results. So if you're looking for a lot of one-on-one time with Andrew, you're going to be probably disappointed. You're not going to get as much feedback from him as you like. I might even go the whole class without getting much feedback from him. I'm not sure. There's 3 different songs that are due in final form, so maybe he'll just address each one of those, just a paragraph each. Maybe that's all I'll get. We'll see. What's up, guys? It's day 12. I watched Andrew's mixing and mastering tutorial video on day 10, and I was actually pretty disappointed by it. It was very basic, and I felt like the fact that he advertised the course as something that would help people of all levels, and then I didn't really get that much out of the mixing and mastering advice, kind of made it seem a little bit like false advertisement to me. There have been other parts of the course that I enjoyed, but yeah, the mixing and mastering section was definitely something that was disappointed. He might come back to that again later in the class and get into some more advanced mixing and mastering tips. I hope so, because I think that was one of the things that I still struggle with the most. So I was hoping to get a little bit more out of that part of the course. Anyway, so I'm wrapping up my first track out of the 3 tracks, and I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said before, there are some improvements that I can see to my arrangement and maybe the musicality of my tracks that I wouldn't have had without the course. So I definitely got something out of it, and I think I've had a plateau for a while, so anything that can break me out of that plateau is a good thing. Anyway, I'll check back in with you guys again the next time I have a little bit more to say, 3 or 4 days or something like that, or maybe after the next track. What's up, guys? It's me, Chris. I'm here on day 18 of Andrew's course. I think one of the biggest disappointments right now is that I still haven't received any feedback from Andrew that's direct whatsoever. He has commented on some of the other students' work, but not mine, and I don't know what percentage of students I'd have to go through. Like I said, I think there's like 200 students. It's kind of disappointing to be this far into the class and not really get any direct feedback. In a way, it's similar to the masterclass videos, and those videos have several different celebrities and stuff like that, and I do have a subscription to that, so I've watched Hans Zimmer and Danny Elfman and Deadmau5 and Timbaland. You do get access to a lot more people for a lot less money, so at this point I'm kind of seeing a higher value on something like Masterclass than Andrew's class. Now, having said that, if you're really into Andrew's sound, which is kind of a little more dubsteppy, a little more all over the place, then maybe his videos would still be worth it to you. I definitely think Andrew's videos would have the highest value for like total beginners. There's a lot of stuff that he's going over that I already know, and the way it was sold was that it was a kind of one-size-fits-all class. I don't think that's the case. I think it's somewhere between beginner and intermediate. I mean, I did get things out of it, but I think it would be better if it was divided up into different levels. So, I mean, there might be things that are above the beginner level as well. So in that way, maybe it's parts that are above certain people's heads and below other people's heads. I don't know. If I had to redesign the course, I would definitely have at least 2 tiers, if not 3, where the beginner stuff was taught to the beginners and the intermediate stuff was taught to the intermediate and so on. If this is making you think maybe you don't want to buy the video, then you do have the option of canceling by day 5 and getting your money back. So you can kind of try it before you buy it. One thing I will say for the course is I think Andrew is one of the most funny, entertaining people, and he has one of the most fun, entertaining presentations. So you're really not going to get that anywhere else. It's a little more action-packed. So if you're bored very easily, or you don't have a very good attention span, or maybe you're really disorganized, it follows a sequence that's really easy to follow, and it gives you exercises and deadlines for those exercises. So I think if you're having trouble finishing tracks, that might be good for that as well. One thing I don't know right now is whether or not the videos are available forever. So I guess I'll try to put that back in here later. One thing that I'm really not sure about is just Andrew's flavor of production. He really does throw a lot of things in there where you're listening to one sound and then you're listening to another sound and you're listening to another sound and you're listening to another sound. And by the time he's done with a track, he might have like 100 different parts. Now, it's not like a whole lot of the parts are playing at any one given time, but I'm just not sure if I want to even learn how to work that way. A lot of my favorite artists, I don't think they have songs that are that all over the place. Maybe I'm an old man that's out of touch though. I don't know. It's day 31 and I have some notes as I'm done with the class here. I'm glad that Andrew made us do vocals. I've actually never done a vocal track where I was the singer, and so I was a little bit worried about it, but I was like, all right, well, whatever, you know, if it's bad, it's bad. There's only the people in the class are going to hear it, so just figured I'd give it a shot. And I think I was able to kind of stay in my range quite a bit, not push my vocals, and also use some creative production decisions that kind of hide the fact that I can't sing very well. And it made me realize that, you know, if you produce pretty well and you don't plan on singing live, you might be able to get away with not being that great of a singer. I think the class would have been better if he would have limited it to just Ableton plugins. I don't know why he needed to make the class more difficult for beginners. It just seemed like asking more out of the beginners, because he does say the class is one size fits all. So I can tell if my dog is making too much noise and that the video is going to pick it up later. Say hi, terrible puppy. Say hi. See, this guy back here, he's being good. Dog lovers are going to like my videos. Everybody else is going to hate them. I think this kind of ties into one of my biggest gripes about the class, which is you can't do producer classes with one size fits all and, oh, we're just going to learn everything in a month. I just don't really think that works, and I don't think it worked very well for this class. There were other great things I got out of the class, but some of his screenshots were a little bit tiny, or maybe my eyes are just getting old. So that was another thing. I probably didn't take enough advantage of the peer-to-peer feedback. I felt like a lot of the people were newer than me, but maybe I should have looked at that a little bit more. Maybe I still will go back and look at that a little bit more. So that might make my review of the class a little less objective. So maybe I'm a little biased because I don't want to read as much about other people's tracks who are a little bit newer than me, and maybe Andrew did respond to some of those, but I still was like, he's not saying anything about my tracks. I don't know. Maybe there's a lesson there about me being too self-centered, but I don't know. This doesn't really have anything to do with Andrew, but at the end of the course, they kind of bribe you into giving them a good review. They say, oh, did you like the class? Well, if you did, you can give us a positive review and enter in for a gift card. You shouldn't bribe people into giving good reviews. I bought a vibrating collar so that the puppy would quit barking in the backyard, and that company did the same thing. They put this little $20 Amazon gift card, and they're like, all you got to do to activate this is give us a 5-star review. Reviews should be a nice objective thing where the people making the product aren't interfering. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. So for a quick conclusion, I just made a list of what I thought were the pros of the course over here. Covers a little bit of everything. In this way, it does have a good value for beginners, because if you're using YouTube, you just don't really know where to start. And even for me, being a little bit more advanced, I'm still always afraid, what am I missing? Are there holes in my knowledge? It was good to kind of review everything, learn a few little new things, and just kind of reinforce and I guess reassure me that I did know a lot of the things that I should know. Structure is kind of along the same lines. It's presented in an order that makes a lot of sense. It's organized. It is a little overwhelming for beginners, but we'll get to that. If you're not very disciplined, it's great. The accountability to the other students and the deadlines seem to be really helpful to a lot of the people. Of course, Andrew's videos are very entertaining. He never puts you to sleep. You get lifetime access to the tutorials. So even though I recommend the master classes and I think that that's a better value, you would have to pay a lot per individual class to get lifetime access, whereas I just do the $180 for the yearly subscription. And the last pro here is that it's good for networking. So I did meet some people that I think I will be staying in contact with. I also think I'll be collaborating with some of those people. Networking is a big part of the game. Relationships are a big part of the game. All right, so on to the cons. Only some people will get feedback from Andrew. I didn't get any feedback, and the 3 people that also helped me make review videos, they didn't get any feedback either. There's no FAQ that we could find. There's nobody you can ask questions to. There's no experts. There's no Andrew's assistants or anything like that. So if you watch the videos and you don't really get it, you can ask the other people in the class, but there's not a guarantee they'll respond in a timely manner. There were very talented people in the class who knew a lot, but you don't figure out who those people are until later. So another con is that it's kind of expensive. Like I said, the masterclass subscription for the year long is $99 less. You get access to a lot more successful people. One other thought that occurred to me is I don't really know how successful Andrew is as a musician or a producer, really. He's more successful as a YouTuber and a marketing genius and a teacher. So to me, I'd much rather get advice from people who are known for being successful producers or successful musicians and on and on. And maybe Andrew does have a huge music career, but that's not really what he's known for me. I definitely think that one size fits all is extremely unrealistic. Definitely in the 30-day format, it's just plain false advertising and it's kind of bullshit. The beginners are overwhelmed, and I think the more advanced people like myself were kind of bored, not challenged very often, expecting a little bit more like on the mixing and mastering tips. So it should be divided up. So the last con, like I said, not very much on the mixing and mastering, which is something I'm always trying to know more about because it's such a deep topic and there's always new stuff to learn. There's always another level of tips and tricks. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and if you like this video, there's another video with 3 of the other students in the class. I guess I'll link that. Please check out my other videos. Please like and subscribe and comment and all that, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.